Well, would you look at that? Complexity Gaming, COL16, Mousesports, MOUZ9. And that is going to be the way the first map goes here. It's Complexity Stick of Inferno that goes well in their way. First half 6-9. They rounded out with a 7-3 second half. And overall, good looks from Complexity. Mousesports, not the same. Didn't seemingly have an answer here for everything that Complexity had to throw their way. And you just have to give a tip of the fedora that I'm sure all of you out there are wearing. A tip of your fedora over to the Complexity side for putting in that work. And welcome back to the DreamHack Master Spring 2020. I've got both Potter and Halvor here with me to talk about putting a bow on it and sending that gift home. What has just happened here, ladies and gentlemen?
I guess exactly what I expected, Trace. I told you Complexity are going to obviously win the series out. No, but we're being showcased to a Complexity that's been really putting in the work. I think throughout the game, both CT and T side, you see a team that's got a very set game plan. They have a very good idea of what they need to do versus a team like Mousesports. I mean, the way they approach Banana, for instance, throughout their entire T side is just well thought out because they know the tendencies of that Mousesports team. So, yeah, it's just the better team won on Inferno, simply put.
Now, interestingly enough, I think you're exactly right. We're going to look at the numbers real quick, and they're not going to tell you that Chris J had a great time today, but I know who is about to have a great time, and we can all sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Good luck, Potter. Tell us about what you got in Stats Helix.
Yeah, I just wanted to showcase exactly what Halvor was alluding to, was that banana control. And if we take a look at the Stats Helix, you're going to see exactly the set piece that really set Complexity over the line towards that B bomb site. In the beginning here, you see Complexity members keeping Mousesports towards this mid, throwing some utility, making sure that the three defenders, they're going to stay A for as long as they can keep them there. And if I just fast forward towards here, they do regroup and start going towards B. Now, Mousesports, they get a read on this and they start overstacking towards this B bomb site, but it doesn't matter because this set piece that's about to happen from Complexity, all the bases are covered. They know exactly how to handle a three-piece here. Now, the two utility that's most important is going to be the smoke that's top stairs and this Molotov here. Now, if I pause here, take a look at where all the Complexity members have positioned themselves. We got 2 players in the construction area and 2 players here. The most important frag here, I think, is Rush and his role within this strategy. He's jumping on top of this triple box here, and he's going to be taking out the coffin. And if we can take a look at the player's point of views, you're going to see exactly how these frags kind of line up. And all these members of Complexity, all they have to worry about is the triple spot, the back right position of the B bomb site. I just really like how thorough all of these Complexity members are. I like the pathing that they take and exactly how the trades are going to be coming out. They know exactly where the frags are coming from. So they are super prepared. They know exactly what their look is going to be at that B-bomb site. And I just love this set piece.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much a testament as to what Complexity have been working on this entire time, whereas Mousesports struggle to find where they stand. We struggle as well to talk about that next map of Dust 2, and I think better than us talking about it would just be watching it. Analysts, stop talk. Trace, stop talk. Go to break. Dust 2's next. Complexity, Mousesports, right here at the DreamHack Master Spring 2020, y'all.
Wow, the fires burn brightly for Complexity over on Inferno. We've seen the ashes to ashes here, now it's time for the dust to dust. And that there is the next map in this series, the map pick of Mousesports, no less. And we're hoping they can bounce back here to make this a close, competitive 3-map series.
Yeah, one thing to recall is recent results, right? We always look at these. There's been a lot of games online for both these teams especially. And for Mousesports, yeah, we talked about how their recent losses on Inferno not looking good. They've fallen to the top teams. They've fallen to some up-and-comers. Well, here on Dust, they're on a bit of a streak, a 4-win streak over the likes of G2, Fnatic, Astralis. These are all great teams at this map, and so that bodes well for Mousesports in this series. They may be down a map. They may not have looked super competitive on that T side of Inferno, but now is a whole different kettle of fish. Let's see if they can start to boil up as they get into this T side. A fast play down lower in the pistol round for Mousesports. It's lots of Kevlar for Complexity, and immediately a kill out middle. Poison's gone, and Mousesports will move up mid.
Yeah, Woxic even shooting the defuse kit. Now, that's not going to break it or anything, but maybe it's a sign of, I don't know.
Pushing it back.
Yeah,
He's trying to push it back.
Okay.
Didn't really work.
Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty much all it is. I'm not assigning anything to it that it wasn't. Let's go. Up through short for Mouse. We'll lead the defuse kit in the back of our minds. A nice tag on a config. And Frozen deals with him at ramp. Obo now at long. Tapping down. And ooh, that's a nice kill on a Frozen. Okay. Oh, and a follow-up as well from Obo. All right, so now it's in... Oh, okay, Obo, on for the ace now. Of course, in the blink of an eye, he's gone from none to 4. From 0 to hero in this round. And it's only Carrigan left. He's flashed off the angle. The bomb is planted for him. But this should be an impossible clutch. And it's Obo with the ace. Finding the first round on the board for Complexity. A great start to Dust for this man.
Shout out to my Obros out there.
Your Obros, yeah, man. I mean, this was nuts. This was wild, in fact. And considering he hadn't, like, you know, he didn't blow in our minds back on Inferno, like he really does open up Dust 2 in a big way.
Yeah, no, he was like the bottom performer in the server back on the previous map. Apart from Chris, actually, he ended it with 10 kills. Bottom for his team, only negative player. Obviously, just looking at the numbers alone, but that's a great way of just spinning it on its head and opening up Dust 2. It's put full money and full rifles in the hand of Cole, who won't play around with any SMGs. You don't often see that on Dust 2. I think very safe, knowing Mousesports aren't going to force here. They want guns soon, especially on their rifle, especially on their pick, at least when it comes to maps. Bomb is going out middle, 2 players here. It's spotted, and Woxic's going to get wall-banged out. Even though Blame falls back, there's still a second line of defense if someone else wants to challenge. Config coming in, and he's seen Rox with the bomb as well. Rox looking for the deep shot, does land it, but will get swiftly traded. 4 from Blame in this one, so not quite the ace, but it will do, and it will be 2 for Complexity. Mouse coming in with guns, and the AWP in their 3rd round of the play. Poison can't afford it yet, so it will be still the scout here for Cole. Fast cap play for Mousesports, not hanging around, not waiting. But the grenade is received by Carrigan. Nice shot from Frozen, opens up on long. Takes a bit of damage from Rush, but it will be an advantage for Mousesports, a much needed one in this opening rifle round. Up cap they go and set the quick smokes up. This bomb is going to be late. Rox is holding dark. And Mousesports, they look like they want to commit, but that bomb is still in spawn, so it doesn't really hint towards an A play here. They're actually going to back out and go B late, and that rotation from Cole to Gamble is a bad one as well. They've moved away from the B bomb site. This might come back to haunt them with Mousesports falling back into what could be a mid to B, putting pressure on the tunnels right now, but oh dear. Here they come, right through middle. Cole are going to spot this mid to B smoke. They know exactly what's going on, and there's nothing they can do about it but save.
Yeah, it's a pretty grim ending to a round for Complexity. You know, you lose one man and then it has to culminate in this save, but that's sometimes the way of Dust 2. And sure, it doesn't make for anything exciting here in round number 3, but it will be a much needed round on the board for Mouse, and a flawless one at that. These are the kind of rounds that really set you up for the rest of the game. So it's an important building block here for Mousesports, as they're finally going to make a bit of money. When you think about how the cash really was becoming a problem for them over on Inferno, it's nice that they're at least kind of dealing with that threat early on by keeping this first buy round flawless here. Now, pretty much the same can be said for Complexity, right? They keep 4 players alive, they save on 4. Russia's got money to reinvest anyway. There's a chance that we could even see... yeah, I don't really know. I was trying to figure it out. Woxic's just like chilling.
Harry, you're trying to read Woxic this game. I don't think Woxic knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's shooting kits. He's running into walls.
I like that about Woxic, you know? Yeah. He just brings like an element of cheekiness to his gameplay. You're never really sure what he's planning, and yet he manages to make it look excellent when he does it.
Well, a first round of the board, that is excellent for Mousesports, getting on nice and early with the rifle rules, and Cole don't have the money to, you know, stop them. Not necessarily with the AWP, at least with the scout. It will have to do nice little B play for Mousesports that Cole run away from preemptively, in fact. And now, well, they're not going to do that again. Obo is sat inside of the site, Config supporting the window, and we even have mid being taken by Cole. So very focused towards his B side of the map. Of course, Blame can rotate fast, but right now Cat has been taken just yet. Mousesports are moving up it though. Frozen flashed out on long, does spray it, keeps Rush back. He doesn't want to give away the long pick in this round. Let Mousesports get an advantage early on. They are just going to creepy crawl their way towards Cat. The scouts move back on the car side. Poison's going to be watching, and Blame can hear all the footsteps as well, telling Poison to be very alert.
Yeah, the smoke's gone down to allow this cross out behind Catwalk. With no one in the lower tunnels, this does just feel like the commitment from Mouse, right? They don't have any contingency plans. They don't have anything else up their sleeve. This is just looking like the Cat play, and this is, you know, like a bread and butter for a T-side. You know, this is one that you just roll back time and time again. So this is a nice early kind of litmus test of this Cat play from Mousesports in this game. 30 seconds left as they try and get into the site. Molly gonna force a man out from the ramp position, but it's actually Poison with his scout at long to deal with Carrigan as he moves into the site. And Poison's getting away with even more damage. A bomb plant will get found here for Mouse at the very, very least. But this scout has already done more than enough, and Poison is continuing to lay down the pain. Config comes in because he doesn't want anyone to forget about him while Poison's popping off like this, and this leaves Rops all alone. This is an undoable round. He knows it. We know it. He's backing out, and the defusers come in for Complexity.
I can't think of the last time that I saw like a Cat play like that just get left to the mid lurk, the guy watching the tunnels flank and the mid play and defending long as well. Like Rops is in a 1-on-5 with a bomb plant of a Cat. Like what the hell is he supposed to do about that? Excellent shots from Poison. He doesn't need the AWP, Harry. He doesn't want it. Well, I mean, that's a lie. He does, and he'll take it right into this round. Reaping the rewards of those scout shots. Woxic is going to join him, though. 0-3, yet to frag, but let's see if that can change in this round. Got that AWP late from T-Spawn to long. Poison is posted on the car once again, and Rush is taking control of this position as well as Mousesports look to flash out into long. There it goes, and here come the T's. Rush might need some support after all. The AWP is going to move in to try and take a shot, but a boost up for Mousesports above the blue. Flash up, Poison mollies, but still Rush hasn't gone for a full fight nor peek. The grenade should get some damage, but nothing significant. And this is a great angle to watch Pit. Woxic's even dropped Flame, and Rush is trying to get aggressive. He will land that kill. Poison covering as well as drop the T AWPer, and somehow, some way, Complexity not only get control back of long, but get the bomb dropped to their feet. That kill would make every difference, but Chris will survive. Missed shot from Poison, and that's given Mousesports a way back into this round. Look at Carrigan.
Yeah, Carrigan being so deep within the site, that's a bit of a question mark. Not something that Complexity really know about. Oh, there we go. Carrigan has it under control, but now he's really got to have it under control. You know, you've kind of like tamed the beast a little bit. It's trusting you, but can you get Obo on side in this 1v1? He's 6-0 on the board, and he's looking to go Bames John, 7-0 if he gets this clutch. Looking for Carrigan, who's hidden at Goose, and Obo has seen him. He knows what's going on, and Obo is going to tap Carrigan out of the round. Defuse for Complexity locked on in as this clutch goes their way. Remember, that was a 2-on-3 for Complexity. Once that bomb looked to get in through long. So Obo winning that one out, continuing to string together rounds here for the Cole side.
Obo, he's a nice dude. He won't shoot your dead body. He'll knife in your general direction. That's about all the BM you're going to get from this man. But great round from Obo as well. The fact that, you know, not only Carrigan's in a great position there, I think the problem for Mousesports is throwing the bomb on the cross. That player definitely should have just crossed. Chris was low, but I think that's the risk, right? Config didn't know Carrigan was there, and he's able to swing out and at least get one for his troubles. Obo reads Rops' position, which was the same as the previous round at top mid, holding onto that Cat play, and he's able to not only kill him, but close out the clutch. Good stuff for Cole, 4-1 up on Dust 2. As we said, you know, Mousesports, they've had a great track record on this map, but right now Cole are looking great individually, and they've always been a fan of Dust 2. Fast mid-play, trying to create a distraction for this B tunnels, execute. Config missing the shot, pistols out. He's going to give up B here, but that gun is not what he wants up against the Tech 9. Somehow Chris wins a fight from a range, and that AWP, while it's not been picked up, it is retrievable close to the window for Mousesports. This round is looking like a lock-in. A fast mid to B play. Complexity missed a couple of crucial shots, and with that not going his way, it's got to be a save.
So this B site is really where Mousesports are kind of getting by right now in this Dust 2 game. And Complexity falling short in this one. You think about the fact that this was only a partial investment for Mouse, and actually this is a great outcome. You know, suddenly you are just flushed with money over on the T side. You're able to get it done on with only these pistols. That shot making all the difference from Chris. Don't really know how he gets away with it with the Tech 9, but sometimes that is the Chris J effect. Interesting, as two players here for Mouse don't have head armor. Up against the M4s, that is a bit of a curious one. One of those is Woxic here with his AWP over at long.
That's because they half bought last round and they don't want to upgrade it, right? They were eco, their pistol armor, and Mousesports win it, but they get away with, you know, not 100 armor left, and so it's going to cost $1,000 to upgrade, whereas Mousesports would rather, you know, take the risk and save the money. You know, like in pugs for sure. At this level, it could be punishing, but, you know, can't really dwell on it. It's not a big problem for Mousesports by any means of the word. Not yet, anyway.
Well, let's see if it looks to become a problem. This bomb just left in top mid. Mousesports taking this round very, very slowly. They're waiting to see if Complexity try and push the extremities of these bomb sites. Not looking to be the case. The one man who could be in a bit of danger right now is Rush over at long, as he does lie in wait on the other side of these doors. And there are players here for Mouse trying to scout this area out. Now, this is where Rush has been helped here. Poison's rotated back from Catwalk. A pretty ballsy rotation, all things considered, because there were players for Mouse there. BlameF is listening out for the cat play, and Poison is here to help Rush out of danger. That shot raining on in denies any attempt at the trade from Chris J. The molly is going to force Rush out into the open, but he gets away with a lot of damage before he goes down. And with 20 seconds left on the clock, Chris J on 10 points of health, this might just be a Complexity round.
Yeah, if Mousesports don't save, I mean, Complexity could just hunt down these kills after time. That could be a bit of a problem. Chris looks like he wants to die. He's hanging out in middle. But now, well, now that's out the window. Now he wants to hold on to his gun, but Complexity might not let him live. They're going to push. They're going to get close. Oh dear, lots of noise made, but no wallbangs found. And Complexity, they'll take the round anyway, keeping their guns alive most importantly, and building the CT economy early in this game. Mousesports, both rounds they've had have been responded on by quick recoveries of Complexity. Rush, great double on long, holding down the line. He's been playing that corner quite a lot, or at least close towards long. Does find some value out of it. Orbs are back in though. Poison back on long, throwing flashes to set his team up for that fight. Carrigan is going to spam config as he gets up Catwalk, but this is heard and this is known by Complexity. Frozen finally wins a fight versus Rush, and that long fight is always, you know, a bit of a problem here when you're leaning towards B early, because now Poison's going to have to both watch a Catwalk and pivot between that and long, running right back as we speak. But so's Carrigan running forward up Catwalk with the flashbangs. There they go, and one player's going to drop. Carrigan's in the spawn, not for long. Blame will rid him of the round, and now it's a 4-on-4 with a bomb trying to get towards A.
Yeah, Poison has denied the first man out from Cat, and you can see what this has done to Mouse. They're going to maybe try and hit B, because Rops has gotten into the site, and he's calling that it's clear. Frozen dealing with Poison at long, and it might seem tempting now to rotate back. I think instead they're going to use Rops as a lurk in through B to try and help the bomb, because the bomb is in a spot of bother. Woxic is trapped at Catwalk. And this whole round is hit like a very weird situation. Rops has just bailed Mousesports out in such a big way. At least he believes. With those 2 kills, there's only one man left, but Obo's already in B, and both players here for Mouse. Obo trying to break them up into 2 1v1s, and he gets his wish, but he's not able to win it out over Rops. Rops really is the savior of Mousesports there, like single-handedly on this play down through mid, removes the first, somehow taps down the man at Car. That is just unreal. And in doing so, carves the path for that bomb to rotate down through mid into the B bomb site, which would not have been available had Rops made those shots connect. So stellar stuff on his behalf. An attack pause now called in from Complexity. I try and figure out what's going wrong, and you know, I think justifiably so, because in a good few of these rounds that Mousesports have put up, Complexity have been looking good, right? And it's either come down to like losing the players at B and just having to save, or in that round there, you actually had the advantage. And it's the fact that B is open that allows Rops to come in on this flank and blindside you. So this B bomb site is causing problems for Complexity, and they've got to look as to how to address that here in round number 9.
Yeah, and not really armed for the job, are they? Warp is available. Perfect position for Poison, holding Woxic before he even gets to that spot. And 2 pistols around, right? This round isn't as simple as that one opening kill. Mousesports have a far better weaponry than Complexity, and so this Orb needs to be very mobile for Poison. Unfortunately, he's away from the car right now, so if Mouse commit Cat, then he can't really have much to say into it. Rops is close in B, but not committing on his own. Mouse is going to go fast into this site. Poison's already made it, though. They are close in CT. He doesn't realize he's been tagged down. It's a wide swing from Blame, and Karrigan and Frozen combined for 2 kills. Bomb thrown on the site. Big play by Karrigan. The grenade will finish off the job, though, and he walks right into it. 3-on-2 for the retake, but no kid available. The problems just keep appearing for Complexity, and with a man down lower, they've got to deal with him as well. Rops waiting in the wings with 1. Config trades, and that's going to be a retake now up against Frozen on just 10 health.
Oh, and the flash is good. They know he's here. They know he's at ramp. Frozen, can he offer anything up? Swings wide, but in doing so, into the double peak of Config and Oboe. Defuse found for Complexity. 6 now on the board in this CT side. You know, it feels like every time Mousesports put a round up on the board, there is an immediate response from Complexity. The reason why it might feel like that is because every time Mousesports put up a round, there's an immediate response from Complexity. Hugo, it's funny how that one works.
Crazy.
Yeah, Mousesports not able to chain together 2 in a row just yet.
Yeah, and that's such a problem for building money, right? Like, you can just see the fact that Mouse are constantly on these ecos, even though they're winning them and stuff. But right here, I mean, they're buying a hero AWP and a hero AK on an eco round. Like, this is rough for Mouse. These are the players that survived in the save the other day. But Woxic immediately removed, and that AWP is no longer in play. It's going to get picked up and wall-banged by Chris J. Dear, oh dear. Poison, you don't want to trifle with him. The experience on this man is not to be messed with, and he has at least opened up long, but that's not where Mousesports want to go. Smoke down low, trying to stay alive in this position with Config, but it's going to be Oboe drawing them in with fight. Trade is good. Config is still here, though, and Chris is not out of the woods just yet. That grenade misses with a flank. Shouldn't. The bomb dropped up top mid, and Rush coming down suicide. This is the last place Chris is going to expect, and Rush, timing is everything on this play. Chris is looking the wrong way, and he's making noise. Bomb picked up. Does Rush know? He's going to begin to move forward. Oh dear, it's ring around the rosy. Chris has cornered him, and Rush doesn't realize, at least not yet, but yeah, running, that will give it away. Rush should have this round under his hand, although Chris has spotted him. Oh, has someone commed it? No one's realized he looked right at his opponent. He's actually hidden right behind the box, sorry. The darkness eludes me again. Chris runs back towards long. Rush sees it from top mid. This is such a weird round. Rush has had a lot of opportunity, but he doesn't want to risk losing this one, and now he's going to pull his knife out and run on the flank. Chris kills him and fakes the death cam towards A. Config ain't falling for it, though, or maybe he is. Giving it due consideration. Going to come back towards middle. Good read by Config. He's got the situation under his hand, and he will be able to find it. Oh, that was a heartbreaker for Rush for there. I mean, the fact that he takes so long on that flank and gives Chris so much room, I thought that he was at least going to try and play it like safe. But then the second Chris takes long, Rush falls for it. He sprints with his knife out, and he dies, leaving it to Config, who is up for the task. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, really. T-side Inferno, man. Think about the amount of B hits that Complexity had, or even the fact that, you know, it's just standard Inferno games. It's not, it doesn't even matter really what site you go to. Like, they were walking into 3A setups, trading effectively, 3-on-2, plant, Mousesports save because they're too far away. They're committed in B. So a wise man once told me Dust 2 is like a big Inferno, and we've got that wise man on the line right now. Harry, any thoughts?
Yeah, it really is, Hugo. You know, like, even in terms of the colors, striking resemblance here. Of course, map 2, Big Inferno, as it's called, and it might be a big B rush. There's a lot of Bs in this one, but I don't know where I'm going with that. I tried to tie it in. I tried to tie in a B joke, but it didn't happen. Let's see, buzzing into this B site. It's Oboe holding down the line.
How is
Bit of a hive mind, though, as all the rotations have come through from Complexity. Meantime, though, Blame F has to try and hold the line solo, and Frozen does best him. Let's see, up in the window, Poison looking to be the beekeeper, trying to keep this one under lock and key, but that molly is not what you wanted. He's actually... Okay, well, maybe that's what you wanted. Down to the 1v1, and Poison versus Frozen. Flash goes over the top, there's still a smoke in the door, and Poison is plagued with the indecision of what gun to commit to this with. Goes with the AK, lines up the shot. You're worried that the indecisiveness there on the weapon switching could have punished him, but no, he's right to have chosen the AK. He trusts himself, he trusts the weapon, and he puts the round up on the board. A stellar retake there in the, I guess kind of essentially 1v2 for Poison, right? His teammate in the tunnels never really plays into the round. So an 8th on the board for Complexity. No money on the Mousesports side. They're going to partially invest again with a hero AK on Chris J. And this is already giving me memories of Inferno, you know? Like, this is a very similar scoreline, a very similar situation to that previous map.
Yeah, but Mouse have won these rounds, right? They have won them here in Dust 2 with those mid to B plays that can be so suffocating on this T side. Complexity, well, they're not worried about it just yet. Poison's up on Cat. He's about to get the full brunt of this T side offense, and with a run boost as well, the flick will not connect, and I don't blame him. But grenades to follow, keeping Mousesports back will be him and Rush combining for a kill. Blame is here as well. Feels like everywhere Mousesports go, there's 3 Complexity players ready to fight. The re-smoke down, Mousesports are denied that passage, at least for the time being. Gonna wait for the right time to strike. Carrigan's picked up a smoke from the body of Frozen. He's gonna head elsewhere, looking for this mid to B. Take a note of Rops. He's actually out the doors already in that cubby close to middle. So already ahead of the curve perhaps, but Complexity are watching for this from the B doors.
Oh, and they are just getting churned up. Obo at the B doors laying down the pain. Does get a Tech 9 pressuring him close. The rest of the gang are smoked off in mid, but the B players are holding their ground, at least right now. A bomb plant is available to Rops at a bare minimum, and that's something for Mousesports to work with. He's retrieved an M4. I don't think it's got any ammo left in it, so he's got to get this done with the Deagle, and he does find the first man in. He's just checked, and yeah, it's empty. Another for Rops, and the Deagle might be all it takes. Rops! What in good name is that? A 4th on the board, Mousesports. Oh boy, that is unreal. What? Unreal. He even checked the M4. No ammo in it, and commits with the D. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I wasn't ready for that. All right, Robs, come on then. Let's get the rest of Mouse believing, because you're clearly there. It feels wild that this Mousesports team, the same team that released their comm video from this map when they played it in Pro League finals up against the Astralis, right? Do you remember that, Hugo?
Yeah,
have you seen that video? I have. Think about the emotions and how happy, how hyped everyone on Mouse sounded when they were playing Astralis back at Pro League finals season 10. I think it was semi-finals, 3rd map, Dust 2. And there was so much hype around this team. They were reaching new heights that with this squad, they hadn't reached before at the time, and to see them now looking fragile, it doesn't feel right, doesn't sit right with me. And here on Dust, maybe that little clip from Rops in the last round, maybe that's reinvigorated Mousesports. Let's see, they're setting up over here outside of A. They're trying to get across with the smokes down, and shots start to rain on through for either side, and it's Rops to find the kill, offering up a little bit more damage, but now the Deagle of Rush. All right, come on then, another D-ground, let's get it. He puts up 3. Can Obo finish off what Rush has started? We're down to this 1v2 clutch. The bomb dropped at ramp. Obo coming in from long, and Woxic, he's having a pivot between Cart and Crossroads, and he is ready. Head on a swivel, 5th on the board for Mouse. And another round going their way.
Oh my, these Deagles, Harry, they are just dastardly, aren't they? Rush is warming up on this A site and trying to do his best Rops impression. It won't work out for the round, unfortunately. Obo just gets long as Woxic considers the position, but a nice low economy round for Cole. Unfortunately, they got another one following that. It was a force buy. This back and forth affair, right? You talk about how Mousesports haven't had 2 rounds in a row. Well, finally they get it, and that has broken Complexity. That's all it took. 4 USPs in middle. Rush is going to flash these players once they get contact, once they feel the time is right. But Mousesports are so slow and so patient to this position. And that's exactly what they need to be. Because if they start rushing, then Complexity are going to give them the beans with these USPs. Rush gets tagged through the door. He's not even peeking. He needs to be careful. Wants that flash to go out to help his team out, but Complexity have already bailed from middle. They said, Rush, we don't believe in it, and we're going to go elsewhere. We're going to go back towards A. Rush can just hang out, getting wallbanged. It's actually Oboe, sorry, still on the doors. Rushes up on Cat, flashes long for a fight. Frozen will win both of them, though. No issue for Frozen. Cold, calm, and collected are Mousesports, and Complexity, well, they're out of this round. 6 for Mousesports, 1 left of the half, and plenty of money for Cold. They won't have the AWP available, but everything else is there.
I like to think the Mousesports can still recover this. I want this series to go the distance, Hugo. I think it's going to be a fun one. And these Deagle clips in the last few rounds, they've shown us that. So come on, Mouse. Let's put up 7 at the end of this first half. Let's keep it nice and close. Let's keep Complexity sweating. Let's give them the challenge that this Complexity squad deserve as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at some of the scalps that Col have taken down recently online in Europe, you know, I think it's actually really impressive considering how far this team has come in the few months that it's been here. You know, beating Sprout, Endpoint, Secret, Big, Nordovin, some decent teams in the European region. Of course, teams that you would expect Col to beat, but you know they've certainly had their problems when they first moved here in Europe at winning those series. And right now, while Complexity showing up on the big stages versus Mousesports, a map up and 2 rounds up, and the last round of the half they're favored as well. Everything in their hand. Mousesports committing towards long with the bomb. Rops is again in B. He's been really good at coming in, either holding rotations in middle or lurking through B and coming in on flanks or securing the site to allow for the rotation of the bomb. Lots of effect from Rops' positioning in this game. He's going to throw his fake B smoke, go down lower, try and assist his team in other ways. What that smoke has done is immediately drawn a rotation. Not only have they given up long to fight for Catwalk, but Config has come towards middle, and so they might need to reconsider that one. A molly thrown from long. Config knows they could be close with the time that he's peeled away. And he's been peeled away for Rops' benefit, but that timing is unfortunate. Poison pushes as Rops looks to go in on that backstab, and now Mousesports are reduced to 2.
Yeah, and they waited all round for Rops to find anything with that flank, and he doesn't. So this gets mopped up there by Complexity. It's 9 for them at the end of the first half, 6 for Mousesports here. Complexity leading on the second map in this series. Find out who takes it after a quick break. Stick around.
Keep on searching. I'll keep on searching.
Complexity taking on Mousesports 9-6 at the end of the first half of play, Hugo. And Complexity leading the way. You can hear the crowd. They're going wild. They're getting excited as we get ready to head into the second half of the second map in this series.
The crowd indeed is going wild, Harry, and yes, I mean, the action, it's in front of us. It is paused, but it is indeed in front of us. Complexity up by 3 at the end of the first half here. They're also a map up, if that makes any difference. We've actually got even more clapping.
That's it.
Yeah. Trace, shut your mouth. Thank you.
They've actually overlaid a real crowd. Just
trying to drown out Trace. I don't blame them.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We just had all that go down. Kind of improv, but I didn't know that was something we had available to us, honestly.
I will be calling for that.
You will be.
Every halftime.
And now the crowd getting hyped up again. Woo! There they are. Twitch chat, let me hear you make some noise.
Sounds about as unhinged as I imagine.
A talk show as opposed to like, because that's like, it's like the crowd goes mild, you know. It's like golf.
Mousesports. Set.
Mousesports now. Of course, pistol round. About to begin. 4 seconds left on it. And Carrigan, respectful, gone for the utility purchase alongside Frozen with a defuse kit to his name. Now he's lining up the putt. There's about 75 meters on this one. And Obo out through long, gets in there first.
Yeah, Complexity want to get out in front of this one, and they think they can do it at long A. They're going to be here in numbers as well. You can tell by the defense here, split for Mousesports. They're all over the place in terms of 3 on the A site. So Chris Shea, he's going to have that first point of contact out long A, and that's going to make things interesting. Rock gets absolutely smashed at the car, and it's only time tells. It takes now Chris Shea as well. Now we've got a bigger problem on our hands. Mousesports already find themselves down 9-6, but this looks like a bomb plant. Big grenade from Kerrigan. Touchdown even. Kobe Bryant in the house. And of course, 3v2. Blame F and Rush just trying to get this bomb planted, Harry.
Yeah, Carrigan is still a nuisance, still hidden in the elevator, and he's trying to ride this one all the way to the top. It's Carrigan looking for the last man at long, Blame F all alone, and he's getting pressured, he's getting shut down, and it's Mouse to find the pistol. Now, this is getting some very similar vibes, Hugo, to what Inferno gave us moments ago. It's the same pattern, same scoreline, and the pistol round being won by Mousesports again.
Even the same pistol round. Look at those grenades, man. Just dunking the players on the site as they plant. I can't believe Carrigan gets 2 out of that one. Him and Frozen combined, and Mousesports, they've just saved themselves. That looked like it was going to fall apart, but instead, a round back in, and now they can find those conversions. They can put it up to 9-9, like they did on Inferno. So, like you said, yeah, definitely similarities here between these series. We're going to see where Mousesports go with this investment. Heavy on long, and for good reason. Complexity are up cat with Deagles. You expect teams to eco here, and that's why Chris has only got a P250. He's not running default USP. He knows there definitely could be armor, and there is. So, like, this gun is a bit of a liability in this round. We'll see if the rest of Mousesports, who are armed well, can put a stop to it. Here, Cole, go. Carrigan's watching from the long side cold. They're not going to drop into spawn. They're just going to fully commit to this cat cross, and the smoke's actually cut out Woxic. He's close to the scout. This is not where you want to be, because he's likely not going to be able to get more than 1 from this position before the trade comes in. Plant available. Missed shot. Woxic running out of chances, and Rush will remove him from the round.
So if you remember, back on Inferno, this is what happened. The Force was stolen away by Complexity. And here, on Dust 2, you don't believe your eyes, but the Force Spy has been stolen away by Complexity. They get a bomb plot, they win it out, they go 10-7 up now. And they're in a really good spot to keep ahead in this matchup. Of course, if you are just tuning in, if you are just joining us right now, Complexity, they are on the map pick of Mousesports. Dust 2, in case you can't recognize it. Don't know why you wouldn't be able to. It still looks pretty much the same as it always had.
Yeah.
However, the map that just went down prior, that was a little bit of Inferno, a classic. And boy, Complexity, they came out swinging. They took that one convincingly, 16-9. Now leading on Dust as well. It's Complexity looking teed up to try and 2-0 this series.
Yeah, Rops even dies to the bomb. Like Mousesports, I wonder where their head is at right now. They're even going to force into this round, and that's when you know times are desperate on the CT side. Having to force here, I mean, you know, Eco wouldn't have even been worth it. So it's you know, it's the right decision by Mousesports, but it's not the decision they want to have to make. Their economy has been, you know, pulled out from beneath them up against 10 rounds. This can really push Complexity over the line here in this second map and in this series to open Group B as well. The first match we have inside of this group. Remember, we do have the other games coming up later. That will be Big Mad Lions. That's definitely an exciting one to keep your eyes on as well. So
that sounds like just a description.
Yeah,
the
we have a Big Mad Lion. Yeah.
Of course, the halftime show brought to you by the Big Mad Lions.
And then the Complex Mice, well, they will be coming up after that. But right now, we'll save the Germans, we'll save the Danes for later. As we certainly sit in an international roster on both sides of the coin. Complexity up towards Catwalk, taking that A-bomb site. They will throw in the mid to B smoke, keeping Mousesports here. It's a 4-man B setup. If Cole bail and go B, they're going to lose the round likely, but it doesn't look to be the case. Rush is lurking long, as he often does on the CT side, and Cole are just going to go fast into the site. Mousesports are trying to beat them to it. Chris is flashed off on long. Carrigan has crossed into A, but he was made quick work of. Nice scout shot, but it's going to come at a cost. 2 players dead. The long flank is in. Rush has got another, and now Mousesports, they can't win this round. The bomb's been planted, and Rops and Frozen might just think about saving.
Yeah, this is a pretty gut-wrenching spot to be in if you're Mousesports. This is their map pick, and it's looking even more dominant than Inferno at this point in time. 11-7 in favor of Complexity. And, you know, like, Dust 2 for Mousesports is like one of the only maps left in the pool that's kind of remained unwavering, even in this rather kind of downward spiral that they've been in for the last month or so. So this is a bit of a worrying sign. I do think, you know, like, it's not uncommon that when you see a team kind of stumble, that they really do, like, fall from grace to begin with and then turn it around. But... you know, that's the weird thing, right? Like, we've never been in a situation like right now in the world, right, where everything is shifted to online play. So I don't even know, like, how much we're putting stock in these results just yet, because it is all we have for the time being.
No, I think
and so all the teams are trying, like, a lot harder than I think you ever would for an online game. And I think, you know, this is the only metric we have. But I would like to think that Mousesports can recover, right? I would like to think that the high heights we've seen this team reach weren't the peak. And I think that's better from, like, a good CS perspective as well. But only time will tell if that's the case, Hugo. That's kind of the curse.
Obo's just killed everyone in this round, Harry. He got 2 down middle and then found a 3rd holding the B site. Bit of a push up, and Mousesports, well, they'll be pushed out of this round. 12-7, nice and clean for Cole. They have no issue. And now Mousesports, their first full rifle round, Harry, on the CT side, right? With the exception of that second round, which, again, not a full rifle round because it's number 2. But it's going to be this. Look at it. No AWP, 1 kit, just about util. I was going to say enough util, not even. They've just about got some util, at bare minimum. And this is, you know, up against 12, you know, where you're mapped down. So this could be one of your 2 rifle rounds in this entire CT side. You've got to make it work. You've got to make it work. Carrigan dropping Rush as a trade from Config. Toxic does escape long, but look at the B setup. Mousesports know, on a whim, Complexity can just throw in a mid to B and close out the map. So Mousesports want to tend towards that side of the map and deny any chance of it happening. If, of course, Cole hit A, it will be a retake setup for Mousesports. Chris has that kit, and he is the deepest B player indeed. So that's the game plan for Mouse, but they really are relying on this ending B right now. Cole have no interest in making that happen. Obo's holding from spawn side. We have Blame F in that Rops position at top mid, and 2 players with the bomb from Cole out long.
Yeah, the one thing that's kind of interesting to me, right, is like usually because like look at where Obo is holding, right? Number 6 on the minimap. You can see he's all the way back in T-spawn and he's just waiting. So this to me is like suggesting that Complexity are already expecting Mousesports to have began clearing out the tunnels. And he's waiting to see if he can catch a player like real deep. he never sees one. So, you know, I think on the back of this complexity are now coming to this conclusion that they were holding Cat, they were holding T-Spawn and like the tunnels area. No one's pushed. And so there's not going to be this early info system for Mousesports to play off of. And with only Woxic here, with Mouse being set up for a B play, as you've been prophesizing, Hugo, this might just have to be a save.
Oof.
You know, if Woxic had gotten one, I think we see Mousesports attempt that retake. You know, if it's a 3-on-3, you've got a kit on Chris, you're at a pretty important point in the game. Fact of the matter is, Woxic gets nothing done. He gets smoked off and then gets killed through the smoke. So you're only left with this one option, and that is to hold on to these weapons. And for Chris J, he's only holding on to a Deagle and armor behind it. You know, not even getting out of this round with a weapon in hand.
Complexity. I am very impressed right now, and this group is certainly spiced up as a result. Gonna get away with all their guns, no issue in doing so. On both sides of the case, and 13 rounds for Complexity. Money is no longer an object, it's no longer an issue, it's not even a talking point. They've got maxed out, and they can get the AWP in on Poison right here if they want, they will. And here for Mousesports, right? Another eco. They're going to buy up against 14, and they'll have at least, you know, the double AWP available if they want that, and everything they need. But again, that'll be up against 14, and that's of course assuming they don't buy here. I think that's a safe assumption. I don't think Mousesports will make that decision, but we'll see how they choose to invest their money. I don't know if you knew this, Harry. It's an important fact. Carrigan, he wasn't a classic nerdy computer kid at school. In fact, apparently, he was one of the first to get a girlfriend and is very sociable. He also went on to say that he wanted to win a major with Robs. I don't know if you knew this, but it's all very important information.
Right, yeah, okay. I think I see that. I think I've heard that one before. We're sure on the very sociable part, the first to get a girlfriend?
That is true. He was the first to get a girlfriend. He wasn't your classic nerdy computer kid, Harry. You got to keep that in mind when you're talking about Carrigan. Probably one of the most important points.
I can't imagine how much he just. I'm glad he's just embracing that meme. That's
can't really do much else.
Yeah, you don't really have much of a choice, and that's what we like. But nowadays, you know, everyone's too busy making sourdough, something like that. Let's see though, who's getting the bread in this round? Complexity. They find a lot of damage early on. Blame F got tagged through the door and he's in lower tunnel. That's a nice little shot from Woxic, but not ultimately gonna deal the damage.
Out long. Carrigan, here is your time, and he's hit the shot. He's at least provided one here. Does anyone have a flash to bail him out? Woxic is the closest point and no util available. So Carrigan, you're on your own, buddy. You're on an island. You're stuck in the pit, and Poison has the cross covered. He's going to try and kill Config here. He knows he's behind blue. Carrigan not wanting to rush, drops back in the pit. Config takes him down, and now this scout might come and peek the AWP. That would be a big mistake. Config might bring the fight to him instead. Quick Molotov over the top. There's the AWP. Hits the tag. Woxic getting chased, and he won't escape. Not this time. Not alive. Poison moving up towards A, and Complexity. The full entourage of T's, 3 of them, trying to take this site.
Oh, and it's Config to open up. Man advantage taken now for Complexity, and Blame F even removing Chris J. Rob's left in a 1v4, and he's looking like he wants to save, but at this point, you know, you're saving 1 M4 up against 14 rounds for Complexity in a buy round that would be your last if you're Mousesports. There is no room for error at this point in time, and Complexity, they're not making any. Blame F is even ready and waiting in T-spawn to take that gun away from Rob, so he is denied the save. He is not given anything. And this game looking very, very likely to end 2-0 at this point in time, right? If Mousesports don't get this round, they're up against 15, they've got nothing, and those are 2 big problems occurring at once. That's worse than just one problem.
Yeah, double the problem and half the solution, Harry. They also have no time to deal with it. This is a maths problem, and Mousesports, I don't know if they brought their calculators. Quick kills out long. Woxic, he's still here, but so with the scope of Poison. Oh, a missed shot. Woxic, he is on a timer, and Poison, he'll turn the clock off. Quickly deals with him. 4-on-2 as Complexity move up towards this A site. This long position has been so good for them in this game. Mousesports have not stopped it once Rops is here. He's behind the smoke. He can go through. Config's looking deep past it. And Rops has a window. Rops has a gap. No one's watching this. And Rops could shut down this entire round on his own.
Ooh, Rops, come on, man. Let's get it. 1v4. And he's opened up with one. They've left the bomb. They've left the bomb. Oh, no. Rops is sticking it. They jump up, but the shots are missing. Rops has got the defuse, and no one gets him off of it in time. That's a round for Mouse. That is a round for Mousesports. 8 on the board. Rops with a ninja defuse, and yikes.
Yeah, why didn't they boost? They both went for jump shots. They both like got a tag, and then they went round and let him stick it. Like, if one player crouches there, boost the AK, they spam, they win the round. Now, obviously, you know, hindsight, hilariously so, and heat of the moment, no one wants to make that call. They're just rushing him. They're trying to beat him to the punch. They're trying to beat the timing as fast as they can, not mess around constructing a boost that they might fall off. But that was the only way they could have won the round. Rops had the timing. They were too deep, and that will be a retake for Mousesports. Incredible stuff. I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Unless he lied to me. Always a question.
Yeah, that's quite the... Unless I've been lied to on this bit of information, here's some information.
Here's a fun fact that may also not be factual, but it is fun regardless.
No, I like that. You know, I like having some fun with it. And why would Chris J lie? You know, what's he got to lie about?
Exactly. Mousesports, they've saved themselves, or more specifically, Rops has. He's kept them in this series, but only by the skin of their teeth. They are dangling from a thread on a knife's edge. How many more metaphors do you want, Harry? I'm running out. Complexity are only 2 away from taking us over the line, and Mousesports don't have everything to play with either. Chris J on a Deeg, but that's pretty much a rifle for Chris. He's pretty used to this gun.
Yeah, what you're hoping here, if you're Mouse, is that defuse and the fashion in which you got that round, like, really rattles Complexity and gives you a way back into this game. The problem you're going to have is that you really haven't made it easy for yourself, right? Because let's say, like, Complexity just completely self-destructed on the back of that, right? They still have so much money, and so even if everyone is doubting themselves, even if everyone is all shaken up, which I don't think is going to be the reality at all, but even in a worst case, I feel like as long as you're still doing damage, you can just long this game out, right? You've got the cash. It's going to be a grind for Mousesports. Let's see if they're up to the challenge. Frozen flashed in, but not able to get a kill. This A site now belongs to Complexity. And once again, it's Mouse tasked with a retake up against overwhelming odds. And Obo, making matters even worse, single-handedly lays down the pain, even drops Config. So he's on 3 kills in this round, but only 2 of them on the enemy. Rops does get taken care of, and this was looking like maybe Mousesports could have found something, but now it falls onto Chris J alone with the Deagle, attempts the jump shot now. Obo, 4 kills in the round, 3 of them onto Mousesports, the other one onto Config. But it doesn't matter, 15 on the board for Complexity, and just 5 kills away from 2-0ing Mousesports in this opening series of Group B.
And it's looking like a lock-in, Harry. It's looking like Mousesports don't have anything to stop them. The money certainly isn't going to be a factor. You know, the Mousesports are proud of. No AWP. And Woxic, we saw that stat earlier about how his performance increases when he comes into Dust 2. It's not surprising, but it isn't appearing. Woxic has been quiet in this map. 7 kills to his name this deep into the game. And he was the top performer back on Inferno. That's the biggest surprise of all. So, you know, money hasn't been there for Mousesports. There's certainly a factor. T-side AWPing can be difficult with the way that Complexity are playing very tight. Poison's AWP never giving Woxic a way in on that car position. Pretty much didn't move away from there in the entire first half. And so the situation Mousesports have been in has certainly been a hard one, but that's thanks to Complexity's powerful work. And right now they're looking to power through this map to finish it off. Fast play through middle. That molly will deny Woxic's re-entry past the smoke. They've got to go B. Chris is here. Quick trade. Config with a kill. One more man in the site, not for long. Obo's dropped him from the tunnel side, and now it is just a bomb part for Complexity. Mousesports 3 up, trying to play, trying to fight for survival.
Yeah, they do deal with Blame F down in mid, and they spot Obo in the lower tunnels. 2 players now for Complexity getting caught, trying to retreat into safer angles. Poison missed flick, and doesn't connect it the second time around. It falls onto Config, but he's closed in the doors. And now Config on Frozen, 1v1, time ticking away, and it's Config to swing wide and solidify the 2-0 victory here for Complexity. They take it to Mousesports on Dust 2, a home map for the Mouse side, and they barely break a sweat. Complexity, they're looking good, and they've got me excited for them and their run here at the DreamHack Masters Spring. For Mousesports, I'm sad to say it, but it looks like more of the same. This struggle is set to continue for Mouse.
And it is a real shame, right? Like, considering how good they were, not even just last year alone, but even coming into this year, they appeared and they looked just as good as they rounded out 2019. They were getting wins over Astralis, over Fnatic, over the big dogs over in Europe. And now, well, they've fallen short. I don't want to take that away from Complexity, though. They've been grinding in Europe for 2-3 months now, and the results are there. Back-to-back victories in Home Sweet Home Cup over some pretty decent teams that are even inside of their group, like Big, for example, and now a win over Mousesports to start off Group B. DreamHack Masters Spring 2020 is heating up, and we have some folks on the analyst desk that would like to break down this series as well as talk to the winners and losers of both teams. So join us after the break for that desk.
And it's Complexity that does it in twos. Similar score lines across the board. 16-9 on Inferno and then a 16-8 on Dust 2, and they get it done. They do it convincingly. Moreover, the woes, the struggles, and all the trials and tribulations will continue for Mousesports. They did not look like themselves today, but that's not even really the story that I want to go off of. Really and truly, I'm sick of this whining, crying Mousesports sob story. I now want to focus on what Complexity's doing, how they're bringing it to the table, and how they're looking so damn good doing it. Welcome back to the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. I'm joined by Potter, I'm joined by Halvor, and we are ready to talk a little bit of counter. Did you guys expect that? Just curious.
Yeah.
All right, great.
I told you so. Like, come on, Trace.
I don't think that I would have expected that. I did expect Complexity to make this series competitive, but man, they outplayed Mousesports in every single way, outgunned them, out-strategized them, out-everything them. And I don't think anyone can honestly say that they expected this one-sided affair in this series coming into today.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And Halvor, that's kind of the weird beauty of this, right? Is like there's been so much progression or talk about, oh, what does Blame F bring to the team and where is Complexity now? But truth be told, this is where Complexity is now. They're beating up on a Mousesports and they are in Europe doing it.
Yeah, no, they are, and there doesn't seem to be any, I guess, doubt that this extended, whether it being voluntarily or not, extended bootcamp in Europe has really been paying off for them. They're playing just way more consistent Counter-Strike than what they did to start things off, so it's great to see.
Yes, it is. And in fact, we're going to get to talk to somebody from Complexity right here, right now. The ring means that Obo is on the line, and boy, are you looking crisp, not only in the server, but that camera is HD, my friend. How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah, just a normal day in the office. Look, man, did you expect to come in here today and beat up on Mousesports? Did you think that you were going to come in here today and just walk all over them?
Not really. We definitely knew that we can show up and play a good match like that, but we also know they're an amazing team, and we just gave it our all, and it worked out pretty well.
So, like, how has it been working out for you guys? Obviously, due to the current world situation and everything, you guys haven't had the opportunity to necessarily go back to NA and everything. You've been stuck in Europe. You've pretty much had just about the longest boot camp of all time. How have you guys dealt with it? Or, like, I'm assuming like it's easy to get on each other's nerves when you spend as much time together and everything. But how's the entire dynamic within the team, considering your situation?
Well, actually, all the European players are at their homes playing, and then me and Rush, since we don't have a home in Europe, we're playing from like a facility. So we pretty much just practice a lot, and I think it kind of benefited us so far.
Yeah, and Christine, I think you grab it from here, but I think that's just a testament to the experience that you guys are getting from being able to play so many different teams. Christine, what do you got for the band?
How do you feel, Obo, personally? Because you're just so young, and I'm sure this is the longest you've been away from a home environment, whether that be you're in Dallas or you're home with your parents. How are you feeling? Is this really foreign to you, or are you just fitting right in? Are you loving Denmark?
It's definitely pretty foreign to me. It's pretty difficult, but I'm still kind of grateful for like what's happening and like this team, and I believe in this team that we can definitely do great stuff. So that's kind of what motivates me.
Yeah, and you know what's very motivating is pistol rounds like the ones that you tend to have from time to time. Now, I'm not going to say who's called you this, but a gentleman by the name of Harry Russell has called you the NA Zipex. How do you feel about that?
I'll take that name, I guess.
That's not bad, right? That's pretty good. That's pretty solid. And, you know, just to kind of piggyback off of the question that Christine had, and it's not as much about, say, you, but how are your family taking this? How are things at home when it comes down to, yes, you're staying away for an extended amount of time, and obviously you believe in the project you're doing. Can you talk us through how the family life is?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult for both of us, myself and my family, but they support me and they want me to do what I think is right, and they just can't wait for me to come home, I guess.
You're such a wholesome dude, Obo. I really appreciate your time. Does anybody else have anything for this gentleman? Christine, Albor, no? All right,
no,
sounds good. We'll let you out of here, Obo. Thank you. Again, congratulations. That's a big W to take, so we'll see you around.
Thank you.
Easy for Obo. That's the sentiment that they're going to be echoing throughout the band halls all over the world as Complexity do triumph over Mousesports. Let's talk a little bit about this game in depth, some more from the Mousesports side now. And I know I said I don't want any sob, sad stories. I don't want any crying, any of the boo-boos and all that stuff. I want to talk about where Mousesports are now. What does the future look like after a loss like this?
I mean, the grind just kind of has to continue, right? For me, one of the things that surprised me, especially on Dust 2, is the fact that Complexity have pretty set tendencies in terms of how they actually enjoy playing, especially the T set of Dust 2. And it didn't really seem like Mousesports had picked up on that at all. Yeah, and I mean, if you're not going to be on par or at least, you know, show up to start individually, then you have to make sure that your strategical part and tactical aspect of the game is going to be on point, and that didn't really seem to be the case in this one. So that's an oddity for me, because that's something you can do regardless of, you know, how you're feeling on the day.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And it is really odd because it was so blatantly clear that Mousesports was ill prepared for this series coming in. Even going back to their second round anti-eco rounds, going all the way to Inferno, I thought it's so risky for Kerrigan to just have a Deagle and his mate in Frozen to just have a USPS. That's it. It sounded like overconfidence. They actually managed to win that round, but coming over to this Dust 2, it was the same storyline, just a bit of overconfidence coming to that second round, and then they get punished for it. Complexity, 4 spies rushing up catwalk, and they just start snowballing from that point on. So it was a little bit of unpreparedness coming out of Mousesports, which is so sad for me to say for talking about such a top-notch team.
Yeah, and the weirdest part has been watching this trajectory. I mean, normally start talking about a trajectory as in going upwards, stonks, all that crap. I'm talking about how it's just simply gone down ever since. It would feel like, I think, the Ice Challenge around there in London at some point. It feels like it's kind of tapering into, where's the bottom point for these guys? You know, where is the very, very bottom of the pit? And obviously they've just started this group, but where does it stop?
I don't think you're gonna have to look or wait too long until they've kind of reached their bottom level. Again, they're 5, okay, you know, talented individuals that should be able to deliver at, even for them, you know, I guess a floor level that should still be enough to be a top 10 team in the world. And from there on out, obviously they can work on getting their consistency back and everything. I'm obviously a little bit curious as to how the entire dynamic with, I guess, Kerrigan's history as an in-game leader in teams is going to pan out, because if you go back to, you know, TSM days or phase days and everything, all of these teams started out strong, had a bit of a dip, and never really recovered from it before, you know, there were doubts about, you know, the in-game leading or what have you, which eventually leads to a roster change. Now, right, seeing how this is Kerrigan's kind of hand-picked team, I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that history won't repeat itself. But I think this is the kind of similar slump as we've seen in Kerrigan's previous teams, where they kind of just have to revitalize and reinvent themselves a little bit before they'll be able to contend, you know, at the very highest level and the level they know they can.
Speaking of competing at the highest level, here at the DreamHack Master Spring 2020, we have just started this group. So perhaps we can pull up the groups themselves, or at least the group that we're in. That would be Group B for the EU side, and kind of take a look after our first match as to what to expect. I mean, obviously with Complexity picking up a big win right here, no pun intended. That leaves a big Mad Lions game to go on a little bit later. Now, where do we see this one sort of going? I think looking at it, you would say surface level, yeah, Mousesports, obviously, but that's just kind of taking a namesake for what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
please go ahead, Halbert.
You have to be kind of, I guess, careful about just going off of namesake, really. I think Complexity was an excellent showing of that you can't really underestimate any of these teams. Big has been, again, a pretty active team in these, like, home edition cups or what have you. So they've been able to kind of tune their craft as they're moving into this Masters tournament. And the same thing can be said for Complexity, and you're kind of seeing the results of that. So I don't think you can have any sort of favors. This is a really, really open group, just in general.
Halvor, I'm stopping this whole train here for a second because I think you just called it like a home edition cup. Now, I haven't heard that terminology just yet, but I think it kind of sticks. It's not bad, I think. What do you think, Christine?
Yeah, I like it. Home edition cup Masters.
It's got like a distinct smell to it, but other than that, yeah, it seems pretty fine. But I understand what you're saying. This is, what we have for the foreseeable future, and this is what we are going to be looking at for the foreseeable future. This is how we're going to be able to sort of baseline the best teams in the world, is to understand that these are the confines at which they're playing on. So interesting stuff all around. For Mousesports, obviously, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. And for us, we've got to pick up the phone. And we do have a very special guest this time around. A friend of mine, you might know him as Cole One. I know him as Jason freaking Lake, man. How's it going, Jake?
I'm doing well. How you doing, brother?
Hey, you know what? We're doing what we got to do over here. We're surviving for the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020. And so far, your boys have put up quite the performance, quite the showing. And the reason I've asked you on today is I kind of want to look behind the scenes a little bit. I want to get more of a bigger picture of the org side of things in terms of, yes, your team is in Europe and it's working out. Can you talk to us about it?
Yeah, we had this crazy last-minute trip to Europe for qualification for the majors. So they went to Spain, and then we had a quick stop in Sweden, and then they ended up in Copenhagen, and some of the players went home. And it's been pretty crazy. Huge shout out to Rush and Obo, who have been living in Europe in hotels for months during a global pandemic. That's pretty serious dedication in my book. And huge shout out to Shondo, our cameraman, who's continued to pump out content from there. And Josh, our assistant GM, has been living with them this entire time. So imagine while all this is going on, you're living in a hotel and gaming out all day. So yeah. I have great appreciation for these guys, and they're really dedicated. Really appreciate their efforts.
So what you're saying is there's a little bit of a support staff even for these two gentlemen on their own there in the European lands. I think it's Denmark, right?
Yeah, you know how we roll. We always do our very best to make sure our players are supported and have the best care in the industry. And we couldn't do that without guys like Josh and Sean looking out for them. And this has been quite an adventure, with everything that's going on. But combined with the guys back at home and girls that are helping. So far, so it's going well, and we're getting incredible practice in Europe. The team is still on the new side. We're like 6 months in, but this practice has been invaluable, and I think we're playing really well right now. I think it's going to take more time to get to our potential, but today was a great win. Mouse is amazing. They might not be at their peak form right now, but they're still Mousesports, right? And we just handed them a pretty easy 2-0. So I'm proud of our team and I'm proud of our guys, and I just hope they can keep their heads on straight, and keep improving.
Yeah, that Sean guy seems to be everywhere, or I think that's his tagline. It could be wrong. It's everywhere Sean. Anyway, it's kind of cheesy.
Yeah. That's right.
Who did we have first? Was it Christine? Was it you or Halvor?
I think it was Halvor.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy to jump in because obviously, as you said, this team is still in, I guess, the newer stages of its lifespan and everything. Have you been, I guess, how is your general opinion on the progress of the team, right? Because you go through Road to Rio, you guys pretty much take a map off of every single team you play, I think, bar Fnatic, but you don't actually get the W's. Like, did you see enough? Have you seen enough progress from the guys to be happy with how everything is coming along?
Yeah, we had some frustrating matches. Lately, we've had a difficult time closing out. So what the team really wanted to do is we've gone back and we've been playing the weekly grid series, and we won the last 2 weeks. And sometimes stepping back out of that top 5, top 8, constantly playing the best teams in the world and just learning how to win again and just learning how to calm again and getting that groove back can be really beneficial. I think we saw that today. This team's worst enemy is itself at times. I think we've got the talent, we've got the skill, we've got some young guys mixed with some older experience. And as long as we can get it together internally, as long as they can be humble and play together as a team, I think the sky's the limit. I really do. I think we can be one of the very best teams in the world. And I think we showed that today. So we're just trying to stay positive, work really hard. On the organization side, we're trying to support them the very best we can. We really believe in our guys. We really believe in our team. And we think they're going to be kicking a lot of ass in the near future.
How has the atmosphere been within the Cole guys? I mean, transitioning from online to LAN, or LAN to online and everything for these past few weeks, and the fact that all of your players are in a foreign environment. Has the practices been going as smoothly as this 2-0 versus Mousesports showcase? Or, I mean, how much work is being put on behind the scenes?
I'll answer the end of that question first, is I don't think anybody outworks us. Led by Blame F and Jamie, our coach, our guys work extremely hard and put in a ton of time all the time. And if anything, it's one of the first teams I've had where I've like, you guys got to relax a little bit, chill out, like go out, get away from the game for a minute, because they work super hard and play super hard. The irony with our team is I think we're actually better on LAN than online. So it did take us some time to learn how to play a lot of these events online. And if you look at our track record, I think our shots are hitting better on LAN, which is usually a great thing, right? But in a global pandemic, it turns out it's not the best. But I think we're making good progress. We're not to where we want to be by any stretch of the imagination. We want to build a roster that is mature and selfless and outworks everyone else and respects their teammates and is hopefully good for 3, 4, 5 years, and not just 12 months or 18 months like we see with some of the rosters that have come and gone in the past. And I think these guys are capable of it. I think they've got the skill. I think they've got the mindset. I think they've got the support. And I'm really excited about the future.
Well, let's continue that roster conversation a little bit. Obviously, you guys have found success here over Mousesports, but it seems like there's a little bit of a change going on within CS itself. It seems like it might be even evolving in real time yet again. And Jason Lake, you've seen just about everything that this game has to throw your way. What is your take on the addition of 6th, 7th, 8th players to rosters, and sort of like what we're seeing with Astralis? Do you think that could be the future of Counter-Strike?
I think it's really interesting, and I'm definitely following it closely. As you know, Trace, team chemistry and comms, it's a very sensitive thing. So can you add that 6th? Can you add that 7th? I believe you can if it's done right, and Astralis obviously has one of the best support systems in all of gaming. I think it's incredibly important that everyone in this industry starts paying closer attention to the mental health of our players and the industry at large. So if you're hearing your players saying, hey, I'm struggling, this grind after 3 years of this is really not doing right by me, I'm not healthy, then it's our obligation as team owners and support staffs to do what we can do to support that player. And if that means, hey, take 3 months off and we're going to bring in a sub, then I think that's what we have to do. I don't know that it'll become the norm, but I really respect the fact that they're looking out for the mental health of their players. And I think as an industry, we all need to continue to pay more and more attention to that, so we can all live in this ecosystem in a healthy way, in a supportive way, and be positive about what we're doing here instead of just burning through people, like some sweatshop. I don't think that's what anybody wants. So hat tip to Astralis, and I think we're all interested to see how it's going to work out.
Yeah, I almost take them as sort of a guinea pig of the whole idea and just seeing where they take it. Let's see what they do. If it works for them, odds are it might work for some other teams too, as does their in-game strategy. So, Jason Lake, I'm going to let you go. I really, really appreciate you coming on here talking to us. Is there anything you want to say outward to the Complexity fans or even the Cowboy fans at this point?
Even beyond our direct fans, I just want to reach out to, I know there's a lot of people that are really suffering out there. I know this is an incredibly difficult time for a lot of people. It's caused a lot of anxiety. It's caused a lot of fear. I just want to say at a very high level, we will get through this. The world has endured and survived much, much worse things than this virus. So stay positive, support your friends, reach out, and we'll all get through this together. And if you want to get through it with Complexity, definitely always happy to have you in our Discord and our socials, and we greatly appreciate anyone who's kind enough to support us. Thanks so much for having me, guys. Good to see you.
Thank you, Jason Lake. Round of applause, of course, for the man that is the owner and also the myth, man, and legend himself, Cole One, if you can even remind yourself back to that far. And surely someone can get a link going there to, I think it was Complexity Redemption would have been the one that would have been a good baseline for you to start on. But we do need to shift the mood back. We need to bring it back down a little bit, but not too far. We're going to be bringing in Ragin, the coach of Mousesports. We've got him on the line right now. Tough day in the office, my friend. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, we're getting used to it after the road to Rio. No, it's not fun. We've been working our rear ends off, and we have had some really good practice and results, but yeah, we're not showing it on the servers, so it's really difficult and really annoying.
What do you think is the biggest difference, well, from what you're doing in practice to what you're able to showcase in official games? Is it strategically where things are falling apart, or is it just people not necessarily having their day, individually speaking?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear, like individually speaking, that's the main problem we have right now. Have been trying so many things to make sure people are on top. Our individual level has been plummeting a lot. Like we don't have these 2 to 3 players going off, and then it's really tough to win against a great team. And I mean, Config today and Rush also was really on point today. And then it's hard, you know, like if you cannot kill a guy at 14 HP, well, you're gonna lose.
Speaking of individual performance, I mean, Woxic, he had a few moments on Inferno, and even Rops. It seemed like a lot of the rounds that Mousesports were able to scrape by was off the backs of huge deagle kills from Rops or Woxic saving the round. So how do you break down a series like this in your practice to figure out what exactly went wrong? What are the conversations like on the Mousesports side of things?
Well, it's we go listen to the comms while we are watching the map, so we can see exactly what is being said during the round and how we react to the information that we're getting. Also, the prep that we are doing before the match. How did we react to it? Did we react correctly or not? So it is tough. Like I think it was Chris who had like 0-10 or something on Inferno, and when you have these performances on a team, on this game, you're not gonna win, and as simple as that. I mean, there's not much to it. I think Finn Kerrigan has been working he's been working so hard, creating so many new tactics to all 7 maps. We have all been working really hard in improving ourselves, CT sites, watching demos, going over preparation, anti-stratting ourselves. I mean, we're doing everything in our power, but it's just not showing up on server, and that's why you're losing. I mean, there's not much to say to it. It's really frustrating when we are playing really good one day, and the next day it's just pure toilet.
Yeah, and you know, I can understand that. Ragin, as the coach of Mousesports, and you've been there for a minute now, having this be one of your babies almost between you and Kerrigan, what is one thing that irks you the most as a coach? What is one thing that you really want to see change within Mousesports, whether it be within the camp, the attitude, the team itself, or something technically speaking? What would you personally like to just go ahead and grab and knock right on out?
Let's go to LAN again. No, it's right now we're stuck in this online situation. We're playing home. I cannot monitorize how we're working from home. I cannot monitorize the players, so I can only take their word for it when they say they're doing their best. It's easy to see when Kerrigan is doing his best, because then he just comes up with 700 new pages of tactical choices we have to do and have to learn. But the rest is up to themselves, and trust them. They're working as hard as possible. I'm there for the team 24/7. They know that if they need help with something. But when it comes down to individual performance, individual level, and showing up on the server, it's up to them. And I cannot monetize them at all at home like we can at boot camp, where we can see actually everyone is working really hard. So you have to trust your players that they're doing the best they can to perform.
And I know that English not really your first language. I think the word you're looking for there is motivate. Is that motivation, not monetization? I could be wrong, but
Like
No,
monitor.
actually not.
Just
Keep an eye on them.
You know, like
Keep an eye on
so
that.
you
That
know
makes
that
sense.
they're actually
Monitor.
doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So English, not my first language either.
Yeah,
Actually, in
it's
Alabama, we get
I got
something
you.
a lot different. Hey, so Ragin, last question I'm going to have for you. We're going to get you out of here afterwards. Is what are you cooking up in the kitchen behind you, and when can we expect some sort of feature with that?
I think it's cake in the oven right now, so you
Okay.
just come over.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll send Jacob right on over. I think he's a lot closer. Ragin, commiserations rather, and we're going to go ahead and get you out of here. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man.
Cool. So sometimes you think you hear a word. Turns out it's another word. And that's how words work, isn't it, guys?
I mean, he's pretty much
Sure.
hit the screw on the head, right?
Yeah, with the hammer, which usually works pretty well with screws. Anyway, talking about some screwed up stuff. Well, I've got no more of that, but what I do have is a stats helix right here in front of you. And I think Potter does a great job at creating a picture here. So everybody sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yeah, so we're going to go back to Dust 2 here. And I just wanted to showcase exactly the game plan coming out of Complexity and why it's so strong. Take a look at Rush here. He avoids Walk6's line of sight with his AWP by a smoke and Molotov. Poison is coming and they're going to double HE grenade here. But the fact that I wanted to point out was Poison, he actually leaves Rush to his own devices and makes his way towards Catwalk. Now, we see a lot of operas doing this on Dust 2, finding the timings, trying to find a proactive, aggressive play with that AWP. But what I really appreciate about this fact is that Rush is in full communication with Poison top A. And even though, let me fast forward this just a little bit, Kerrigan is making his way short. He actually throws a Molotov top stairs, but at this moment, Rops, he's running towards cave. Rush hears this and communicates it towards Poison. Now, I can almost guarantee you that most operas in this moment, while he's scoped out, looking down Cat, understanding that a frag is coming his way, they're going to stay there. They're going to be a little bit tunnel vision. They're going to want to highlight clip round, but Poison, not Poison. He doesn't want to take a 1vx situation. He doesn't want Rush to be in a 1vx situation. He wants to look at the big picture towards the end of the round. So he's going to actually leave his forward position here, make his way back to Rush towards the cave and help him out. Not that Rush actually needs it, because if we take a look at his point of view, he gets 2.5 kills here. He can fully control the cave because he's just having one of those pop-off games, but the bases are covered. Complexity, even if Rush only gets one and done here, Poison is there to back it up. They're going to maintain long A control, and even if Mousesports gets up Catwalk and plants the bomb top A, once again, the bases are covered. Complexity are going to be able to take a retake towards that A bomb site. So I love the game plan coming out of Complexity. I love the fact that they stick to their guns. And I love the fact that they're all willing to help each other out and make sure that the big picture is always in the back of their minds.
Yes. Peppo, think. Yes. I think that you absolutely nail it, Christine. I love when you do those things. Perhaps we can get Halvor to do one a little bit later, because that's about what we have. That's about all the time that we have. Of course, we put a nice ribbon, a nice bow on what's happened here, but there's nothing more prettier than what's coming up next. And I'm talking about the Mad Lions taking on Big Clan. Berlin International Gaming looking to get in the server. Xantares, not Lantares. Impossible this day and age. We're going to go to a break, an extended one at that. Keep your eyes on the timer. We're going to return with Mad Lions taking on Big, the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020.